Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Code Stories podcast. Today, I'm really excited to have Emmanuel as my guest. Emmanuel is an iOS developer and a content creator from Nigeria, Lagos. He has an awesome YouTube channel. So, if you guys are into iOS development, Swift programming, make sure you visit his channel and don't forget to subscribe. Emmanuel, welcome.
Thanks, man. It's nice to be here.
You're welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Thank God. So usual work activities. This is. Should I just, man? I guess I should have sort of rehearsed this part, but
No problem.
I don't know. I
It's
don't know when
it's
I'm speaking too much.
all right. It's
But
okay.
yeah,
It's okay. Just continue. Just continue. It's fine.
yeah. So, yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Actually, this is actually the first time I'm introducing someone doing this small introduction in my video.
Yeah.
Actually, I do a separate video for that. So this is
Uh,
also a little bit new for me. So I'm also uh,
Yeah, and this is
trying
the
to.
first time I'm being hosted in the podcast.
Okay, great.
So
You're welcome,
yeah,
man. How's
thanks.
how's life in Nigeria? You live in Nigeria right now, Lagos, and how's life? I mean, or especially during this COVID time.
Yeah, so I guess it's not that bad. I make sure I adhere to the COVID guidelines, wear my mask, wash my hands regularly, and all those things. So, but there's no, like we're not on any kind of lockdown or anything. So we still carry on our regular activities, but it is more controlled. So you can't just like go swimming and all of those public fun activities. But yeah, life is good.
Good. And yeah, let's talk about your tech career. So
Uh-huh.
you are an iOS developer, and I remember the first time I saw your video on YouTube talking about iOS development, and I found out that you are actually living in Nigeria. I was surprised because I was thinking to myself, there's so there are not that much people using iOS devices in Nigeria. Android,
Yeah.
of course, there are a lot of people using Android, but iOS device, I was say, okay, how is he able to work full time in Nigeria as an iOS developer? So then I found out you're working in this company, and I was thinking, okay, maybe this company is, I don't know, creating or writing code for another company abroad,
Mhm.
but definitely not an iOS app for a
Yeah.
company in Nigeria. But and then found out that Sparko is a banking company, right?
Mhm.
And they actually have their own app, and you are actually writing this, or you are actually working on this app for your own company in Nigeria, for a Nigerian company.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
just give us a brief introduction about yourself, how you got into tech, and thank you.
Okay. So I don't I like telling this story a lot because my introduction to tech or programming in general was quite funny. So I had finished my secondary school and I was supposed to get into my university. Now the question was, what do I want to study? Right. So I knew I liked computers, but I had no idea what programming meant. I had no idea. In fact, I don't think I had heard the word programming, right? But I just felt like, okay, computer science is all right. So what I decided to do was I said, okay, let me do computer science because uh, I don't know. I have an idea. At least I see some movies and some of these hackers are just typing some fast things. Maybe I'll be able to learn a thing or two about that. So I went into the university to study computer science. And the first, I met my colleague or my course mate, right, at the time. And he brought his laptop to me and just, he was trying to introduce me to the concept of programming. He said, did you know you could create an app using Visual Basic, right? And I had no idea what that meant, but he held his laptop on his hand like this, and he started designing a laptop. And I was just looking at the guy like this, like, are you trying to tell me that you're going to design a calculator on the spot? And he continued, he designed the calculator and started adding functionalities to it. He clicked on 1 and it displayed 1. I was just like, my mind was blown. And I said, I need to know how to do what this guy just did. Now, outside that, I had my first programming course, and that was in C programming. And I entered the lab, and my lecturer was teaching about programming, did the basic introduction, what is programming. And then he made one statement that just captured my heart. He said, I can build a full application in 20 minutes. My God. Like, I was like, Kai, how can you do that? Like, I see people using applications, people using mobile devices, and they're pressing stuff and things are happening. Are you telling me that you can do this in under 20 minutes? So I said I was definitely going to learn how to do this. So from that point, I basically went through the normal computer science course outline. So I did different programming languages. I did C, I did C++, I did Java, I did Visual Basic, and then went into some web technologies, HTML, CSS, and yeah. So apart from that, like while I was performing my normal school duties and trying to ace my courses, I had like genuine interest in programming. So whenever we worked on a particular language, I would always go beyond and try and build at least an application using that particular language. So for example, when we were learning Java in school, they were teaching us basic project management. So many of my course members were creating management systems, hotels, and all of those things. Hotel management system, hostels, and all those things. So I decided that, okay, someone actually dared me that you think you are good at VOA, can you create a game? And I had no idea. Like, I don't know how to do anything game development. I didn't even have any idea of how that worked. The only thing I knew was how to move an object on the screen. So I knew how to move a circle from the one end of the screen to the other. And if you think about it, it's the same logic, right? Game is animation. Objects are moving in the screen, or you press some buttons on the keyboard and certain events trigger, right? So I decided to take up that project, and I made a Super Mario game. I didn't finish, but at least the Super Mario was able to move front, back, jump up, jump through gutters, fall down in the pit, game over, sound, block, and all those things. So it was very exciting. So apart from that, different other programming languages, even when I when I learned Python, I also played around with different applications via, I don't know if you're familiar with the 8 queen puzzle, where you drop 8 queens on a chessboard and they shouldn't kill themselves.
No, I haven't.
So
I'm not familiar
okay,
with
so
it.
it's actually a fun challenge that you could try out. So basically, you have a chessboard and you drop 8 queens. I know a queen can move horizontally, or vertically, horizontally, diagonally. So you drop 8 queens in such a way that none of them can get to themselves. So it's actually a very fun challenge. So I wrote an application using Python. At the time, they were learning about search algorithms. So I used the concept of the search algorithm to write an application that could find a solution to the problem. So you give a starting position. So maybe I want to start at position 1-1 on the chessboard, and then I want the computer to tell me 8 different locations on the chessboard to drop different queens so that they don't kill. So the search algorithm just basically tries to find every possible, or just at least one possible solution to that problem. And initially, when I first wrote it, I used the breadth first search algorithm, and it took the system about 30 something minutes to find one solution. So he ran about, if I'm not mistaken, maybe at least 300,000 simulations. So After that, I now decided to try out a different algorithm that I had learned, which is the depth first search. So when I changed the algorithm, the system was able to get a solution in like 1 minute, 2 minutes. So I was also very impressed by like how much of a difference your algorithm can make. So basically we just learn stuff, and that is why I love programming. You just learn a very simple concept somewhere, and you can just build something can build something amazing with little knowledge.
Great.
So yeah,
That's amazing.
and and this is just different languages, not to talk of iOS itself, which just like I just fell in love with iOS because of the graphics first of all. So if you like, as an iOS developer, I'm sure you know that most of your apps, if not all, always come out beautiful. I don't want to diss the Android guys, but iOS is always the best.
Uh,
But yeah, so it's always iOS devices, or the Apple environment always brings out the best in what you produce, and I appreciate that a lot. I care very much about how my app looks to the users, so I just started iOS development and built some like test applications from there to there, and then for some time I had to pivot into web. So that was when I joined Andela. I joined Andela as a full stack web developer. So during that phase,
so Andela, is that a company
yeah,
that they build apps, or how? What
exactly.
did okay?
So Andela is like what you described earlier at the beginning of the show, where you said they build apps for like international companies. So yeah, Andela connects local talents, like maybe not just Nigerians, Kenyans, I believe, different like 4 other countries in Africa, I guess.
Mm.
So they connect the developers to foreign companies that are in search of developers. So you basically work on projects there.
Okay.
So yeah, I joined Andela as a full stack web developer, and I actually worked in Andela for about I think 5 6 months. But then there was a falling out. So basically, because I got into Andela through the fellowship program, and if we even talk about the recruitment, like getting in was serious headache. That was
Okay.
my first boot camp experience, and it was bloody, bloody for the mind,
Okay.
not physical
Physically,
blood.
okay. So,
Yeah.
how hard was it then for you to like? I mean, you were already teaching yourself how to code, and
Mhm.
then now you went into this boot camp. Or you already had pre-knowledge of software development, like self-taught.
Yeah,
But still, it was still very hard for you.
it was. And so, like I explained, I don't know why, but while I was in school, I had more interest in like system apps, algorithms, AI, things around that line, and then iOS, right? But Andela was web. So after my national service, which is a compulsory service we do in Nigeria after you've graduated university, so I had to, after completing that, I wanted to get a tech job, and Andela was the hot cake, right? It's the place to be. So I applied to get in as a fellow, and I went through the recruitment process, like your technical interviews, your take-home assessments, and all of those things. And luckily, my prior knowledge got me through these stages, plus like soft skills and all of those things. But when we got into the boot camp, then things changed. So I think the main reason why things were difficult for me was I didn't come prepared, right? So I just believed that I could just move, I could just solve the problems and go. And at the time, Andela's acceptance rate was about 0.7%.
Wow.
So I think that is actually even lower than Harvard. So if you're applying to Andela, just say, okay, I will not get in. That's like the default option. But so I applied, and the bootcamp process took about 2 weeks to complete. So for the first week, we were supposed to build the back end. And then on the second week, we're supposed to build the front end and connect to the back end. So I had no idea what APIs meant, right? I didn't know what backend meant, but I was in the boot camp and I had to deliver because also I have I'm the kind of person that I don't like to fail. Well, I think maybe many people too don't like to fail, but I prefer I get it right and I get it then. So um, even though I didn't know what these terminologies meant, like what are APIs, what do you mean by backend, server, express, this one, that one, that one, I just asked questions. Okay, bro, how far? I don't know what this thing means. Can you like walk me through it? And so I even had to learn more. So I found myself working 48 hours without sleep at all. I'm not exaggerating. Like I didn't close my eyes for a single hour. I was working continuously for 24 hours, trying to learn what how to create an endpoint, right? Then learning how to validate, then learning about your actual like architecture because building is just one thing, but building it right, building it in a way that you can collaborate and other people can extend and work together with you in your code base is very important. So all of these things I had to learn during the course of the 2 week boot camp. And while you're like doing your and again you have to write tests. So imagine when you don't even know what endpoints are, and someone is telling you need to write code to test your code. Okay, and then the coverage was meant to be at least I think 70% coverage. So yeah, there was just a lot of learning, a lot of asking questions, a lot of late nights. And finally, I was able to create all the endpoints. Like there was a day I just raised like 8 PRs in one night. Like when I got to the Epic Tower, my LF was like, "Guy, what's up? How did you do this?" So I just created so many, and because I didn't know many of these things, like for example, writing tests, I didn't know what writing tests meant. I learned it during the course. Like I learned it. I understood the concepts within I think a night or two. So since I understood the concept, it was exciting. So I now wrote tests for all of my endpoints and I wrote it so well that I now got about 98, 92 to 98% coverage. And it was actually very impressive. So when I did this, my LF was also impressed. And he knew that I didn't know all of these things before um,
Your
the boot camp.
LF stands for
Yeah, sorry, learning
learning
facilitator. So I've
facilitator.
mentioned that. So
Okay.
it's just like your body,
Okay.
someone that
Like a
helps you
mentor
grow.
or something like that. Those.
Exactly, like
Okay.
a mentor.
Okay.
So he or she checks your code and gives feedback on things that need to be improved. Okay, maybe you could have abstracted this, you could have done this or that, or maybe even just give you more um, edge cases as to how your app can be broken, because that's like the idea of the pitch. The pitch is the final day. The idea is developers, senior developers, right, are like six of them or eight of them are going to sit down and look at you with your code, and their goal is to break your system. So you can imagine how, yeah. So you need to make sure that you've thought about many of the edge cases that they could also think of and just handle all of those things. So yeah, I did the back end. When we got to the front end, another wahala came. Oh, I don't know what is React. then we had to use React and Redux. I know for web developers, they understand many of these things I'm talking about. So it still took the same process. And after the first week, more than half of the candidates were let go because they didn't make it to the second week. So um, yeah, I just had to learn many of these concepts and start building my front end, connect to the API, and everything worked very well. Finally, I got into Andela.
Oh.
So yeah, it was a very like serious experience, but at the same time, I'm happy about it because I learned a whole lot in a short period of time.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. And you stayed at Andela for like 5 months, right? You said. And
Yeah,
then what happened afterwards?
yeah. So Andela was undergoing like I don't know, maybe like a restructure, and they had to basically dissolve that um, everyone that fell like between the junior junior developer range. So basically, everyone that came in through the bootcamp that wasn't engaged, like that wasn't working on an external project, were let go. So yeah, I lost the job around September, I believe. So, but I guess they did a good job in trying to help us come back on our feet. So they sent our resumes to people that were trying to recruit, and also made available to us companies that were looking to recruit. That was actually where I saw Gokada, which is the second place I went to. And this was when I decided, Emmanuel, this is time to focus on iOS. So I got into Gokada as an iOS developer. It was definitely not as hectic as Andela, right? But it was a very thorough recruitment process. So we did like some technical interviews, normal interviews, and the likes. So I got into Gokada, and I started building the Gokada application, and it was actually very fun. I met like awesome senior dev engineers, iOS engineers, backend, and all of those. And I learned a lot of things. But unfortunately, around November, ending of November, December, Gokada had some issues and had to basically dissolve almost the entire engineering team. And as you
Which
probably
which
guessed,
which year was
iOS,
it? This was last year,
no, 2019, the same year
2019.
as Andela.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I joined Andela May. I left Andela September. I joined Gokada September. So I got the job almost instantly, like within 2 weeks, I think. So I joined Gokada September, and I left Gokada December because of the layoff. So yeah, there were times I almost felt depressed. Like, come on, is something wrong with me? Why am I joining companies and then I'm let go? So I just had to, speak with friends, families that basically just like console you or encourage you that you are doing well and you can continue. So I didn't take the layoff to heart, right? It happens. So when I got laid off from Gokada, I actually took it as a time to now go and take my leave because throughout the year I've been work, hustle, hustle, hustle. So December I just went on like the whole of December was just for breaks and applying, right? Just sending out my resume. So I sent out my resume. I didn't get. I think I did. Yeah, I did a technical interview for Softcom in sometime around November and in December. But the recruitment didn't continue. Like it was just basically put on hold because it was the end of the year. So
You were only applying for iOS positions, right?
just yeah,
iOS.
just I decided that I was only going to be iOS
So
because I've
although
always loved.
although you didn't have any professional background in iOS, you're
I
still
didn't.
applying for iOS. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I just had like personal learnings and projects, personal projects, and all those things with iOS. But I didn't. I had not worked in any iOS development company before Gokada. So Gokada was the first, and they actually believed in me. That was good. So yeah. So by December, I didn't get a job. January, I decided, okay, while I tried to look for a job, maybe let me get a professional degree that may help with um, like convincing recruiters that I know what I'm doing, right? So Udacity is happens to be a very good place to get the degree. So I decided to try out the Udacity program about 2000 and about $2,200 at the time. I can't remember, and it was estimated to take about 6 months to complete. So I decided to because I already knew some things about iOS, right? I wasn't like a complete novice. I had some idea. So I decided to pay instrumentally, not instrumentally. I decided to pay per month, right? So monthly payment. And I also applied for the financial aid. So they gave me 50% discount first. And then on the first month, I paid about, I think 70, no, not 70 something. I can't remember how much in dollars, but I paid about 72,000 naira here for the first month. And since I was free, right, I was jobless, I just I decided to just use January to aim at completing the course. So I did all my projects. I did all the what's it called? I did all the assessments that were required, and I went through the course in and finished. Even with my final project, I finished within about 3 weeks.
Wow.
So even me,
So,
I was
so
afraid. Like,
the Udacity bootcamp, nano degree bootcamp, actually
yeah,
takes 6 months, but you finished in 3 weeks.
yes, I
Okay,
finished in about 3 weeks. Yeah.
impressive.
So yeah, I finished, and I would often have like what's it called, one-on-one sessions with my mentor, and we basically just gist because like he was just basically okay, how is it, how has your experience been so far, because we're not discussing technicalities. Yeah, I didn't really have blockers per se. So but I actually learned like some good stuff from Udacity. There are some like tiny bits of information that we overlook. Why do enums work the way they do, or why would this um, why would this piece of code execute like this as opposed this, right? So there were some. It just Udacity made me think deeper, right? Not just learning in the broad way. It taught why things worked, and it was actually very good. So I did that, and my final project is actually on the App Store. It's called Camo Play, and it's the first iOS game I ever made. And it's very hard. So if you were to try it out, then that is a very quick disclaimer for you. You may not get up to like 5 points. If you do, yeah, boss. So yeah, I completed that January 2020. And when I completed that, I still hadn't gotten any job. And I don't know, maybe I'm impatient, but it felt like a long time. Like I've not gotten a job, and this is how many months. So like it just made me think more. I was wondering, am I doing something wrong? Is there a place I should be applying to or something? But at the I can't remember the exact date, but late January, then Softcom reached out to me with an offer. I was like, finally. So that was an iOS developer job at Softcom,
And you
and I
applied.
was supposed
You
to resume.
sorry for interrupting. You applied with your Udacity nano degree, right?
No,
You didn't.
I had
Okay.
applied. Yeah, I had applied during the layoff in December,
Okay.
right? So that was when I started my recruitment for Softcom and maybe other potential companies. But I did the nano degree January, so it didn't really it didn't really do much. I don't think I even had an interview and mentioned that. I really can't remember. But Udacity, the certificate itself didn't really it didn't have much of
Impact, right?
an impact, yeah, on the recruitment. Unless maybe they saw it and I don't know. But I didn't mention the Udacity part of it because I had done the interview in December.
All right.
Yeah. So I got the offer late January to resume February, and I started my work at Softcom February 2020. And this is one place where I really like exercise my iOS skills, because Softcom, just like Andela, does projects or did projects for different companies, right? Apart from the internal projects that they have. So Softcom has different internal projects. They have a subsidiary, a UO, and some other ones, right? So I was privileged to work on a lot of these projects. I worked on um, Data Beaver, MTN DML, some projects, right? And um, fortunately for me, we use technologies that forced me to touch vast areas of iOS development. So things like Realm, Core Data, um, like your network request using your normal URL sessions, or some people using Alamo Fire, right? So I just did, I was able to like touch different concepts of iOS development and build actual live projects that were used by like people all over Nigeria and even in other countries as well. So I stayed in Softcom for about a year, and I got into Sparkle just February this year. So yeah, that's just about a year.
February.
So yeah.
Oh, so
just last month.
Just last month you were working at Sparkle. Okay, I thought you were.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were working at Sparkle for longer actually.
No. So I just joined Sparkle last month. Yeah, that was when I resumed. So, and Sparkle is an amazing place to work. Also, I can exercise my iOS skills, and as you said, we're working on the Sparkle application. I'm working on the iOS version of that. I also have a teammate that is a super dev. So, when you work in teams, that's actually one of the reasons I enjoy working in teams. Like when I go in and I'm in a team, I basically it's just like draining your knowledge and tapping everybody's own. But still you give, right? You don't just want to receive. But yeah, you have the opportunity to learn from different people, because different people have different reasoning or different ways of reasoning. So when someone prefers a solution that is different from yours, it allows you to think sort of outside the box, right? It helps you think more extensively. So yeah, we're currently building Sparkle, and I'm always open to feedback. If you know ways that you can improve, by all means, just flood my DM, and I'll definitely review and implement.
Great. Yeah, I can imagine that you're really enjoying your work at Sparkle, because you even did a video on a day in life of a software engineer in Sparkle, Nigeria. And I'm going to add the video also in the video description for people who are interested.
Nice.
Really amazing video. And I watched the entire thing, and I was just smiling during the entire video. I was like, wow, so this is it's really nice environment. Seems like a nice culture. I think because of COVID, not so many people were around, but really interesting to see how.
So I tell you a fun fact.
Yeah, great.
There's a swimming pool at the back.
Oh, okay, great.
So you can, if you feel stressed or you just want to maybe exercise, just go to the back and swim.
Great.
It's a nice one.
Okay. And so how did you get into Sparkle? Someone, a recruiter reached out to you, or were you applying to Sparkle? And how did that happen?
Yeah, a recruiter reached out, and basically the breakdown, the opportunities made sense. So I just had to review and see if it was in line with my future projections, and everything just seemed to like fit perfectly. I was like, where has Sparkle been all along? So yeah, I just had to take them up. So yeah, when they reached out, I still had to go through the recruitment process. Okay. It's not like
you also did a code challenge and a technical interview and so on.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And
especially the soft skills. I think that's one way that we're winning now, at least for new companies. And we're not just focused on the technical skills, right? Soft skills is very important. So working in a team, you need to be able to collaborate. You need to be able to basically deliver value and carry everyone along. So while recruiting, they made sure that you have what it takes to like basically blend in and just grow the Sparkle culture.
Yeah, that's great. I also always try to tell people to focus a lot of soft skills, because technical skills, you can teach yourself technical skills pretty fast. You can go to a boot camp, you can look at go to a workshop, and you can get a lot of technical skills. Stack Overflow, but soft skills, if someone is lacking soft skills, really, really hard to get them. Great.
Yeah.
And now you're also into content creation, right? You have your great YouTube channel where you're doing courses, and when did that started actually, and what like mm, inspired you to start doing content creation?
Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned, but basically my iOS journey started with free content on YouTube. So I give credit to them anytime, any day. People like Kilo, Akitap, if you know
Kilo
Akitap,
Loco,
Sean, like just a lot of them. So I would
Sean
always
Ellen.
watch their videos and learn concepts from them and then try them out, right? So because of that, I also felt like, man, I guess I need to also release some content to also help, right, to get more people in the community. Just like you said, iOS developers are very scarce in Nigeria, mostly because the number of users of iOS devices are very minimal, right? So we're about, I think, 7% or so, but it's actually increasing. So more people are using iOS devices. And as companies are also advancing, they have also seen the need to have iOS versions of their apps, right? So the number of iOS developers are now few or smaller. So I decided, okay, why don't I maybe just teach, like, at least start from introductory concepts and teach what iOS is, how easy or difficult, depending on how you think of it, but how easy it is for you to like build iOS apps. So I started making videos and releasing content and also sharing with my people just so that they can watch and try and join us in the iOS community. Then apart from that, one of the reasons I also started the channel, don't tell anybody, but it's so that in future I can just look back at what I've done, right? I like to see how my time was spent growing up, right? So how much value did I add to the community or to the world while I was growing up? So I guess it's going to be impressive for me to see maybe in 40, 50 years time and see me making my first video on YouTube and
I can imagine
impacting
when
that.
you watch your first video, you're like, oh my goodness,
Yeah, so if I see my child misbehaving, I'll say, come, see what I was doing when I was your age. So I have clear evidence, understand? So yeah, and it has actually really paid off. I received good feedback from a lot of people, and it actually makes me continue because when I started, there are times I release a video and even two views or 3 views or 10 views or something. Like and as a content creator, you also know how difficult it is to create content. So it can be very like time consuming because you have to make research. You have to, that is apart from creating the content, you have to also edit and share. So whenever I receive like feedback from people saying that the content helped, it just made me like happy. Like even though my one video can just help one person learn something new, then I'm very much okay.
That's great. That's great. That's amazing. So, how is the iOS community in Nigeria? I know Android is very, very popular there. There are a lot of conferences and workshops, but when it comes to iOS, I think it's not that much. Or
Yeah,
what has been your experience in Nigeria?
yeah, you're very correct. It's not much. I don't even know. Actually, I don't know if there is, but I know we have a group. So we have like an iOS developer channel where we have different levels of iOS developers, like senior, junior, even aspiring developers in that channel. So basically, they ask questions. People have blockers and all of those things. You can ask your questions in the group and more experienced developers can respond and just basically help unblock you. So there's also opportunities for you to seek like peer programming sessions with other experienced developers and basically help you do things better. So we have the group, but regards to like maybe meetups and all of those things, I personally I don't know. Maybe it has happened, but I honestly don't know. But I and a couple of friends we're actually planning some like workshops, like regular workshops, and like meetups, as you said, just so that we can engage the iOS community more, and hopefully even aspire more people to come into iOS development. So it's actually something that is in the works. We're actually thinking about it, and The moment COVID dies down a bit more, then I'm sure we'll just organize the first meetup or workshop, and hopefully we may even have that on YouTube.
Oh, great.
Just
Yes,
upload that. Yeah.
I think you're going to be a really great mentor and great teacher. I've looked into some of your videos, and I've also learned some concept in iOS. I
Yeah.
even wrote some comment, and I think it was
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the
Thanks.
some concept in iOS development that's still really um yeah, not quite
Yeah.
clear.
Do you know? Do you know? I also learn from myself. There are times when I may have forgotten a concept, and I know I had made a video one time. I'll just go to my channel, type this stuff, bring it up, and just watch and regain my knowledge.
Uh,
So it helps me as well.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, which plans do you have for the future? I mean, now that you are doing you're a content creator, you're doing iOS development, you are happy with Sparkle. Do you have any concrete plan of about how you want to move forward in the future? Other plans, maybe even traveling somewhere else abroad, or staying in Nigeria, staying in Africa? Um, what are your plans for the future?
That is a very interesting question. So I guess in line with content creation, I definitely want to continue with that. And actually, apart from just doing technical, like releasing technical content, I'm also trying to innovate and release content that applies to a larger audience. So rather than just teaching iOS concept, I'm thinking of also maybe having like a lifestyle kind of content where we talk about experiences, we talk about, or even maybe explainers. So we have this particular concept or this particular algorithm. What exactly does it mean? How does it work from the general point of view? So yeah, I'm going to continue with that, my content creation. Then with regards to career, definitely Sparkle has been amazing. So I see myself growing in Sparkle. So hopefully we get to maybe the CTO role or something. So yeah, I'm going to continue
So I hope
in line
the current
with
CTO
that.
doesn't listen. He's not watching this
he may
video.
he may be the CEO of his,
Okay.
so everyone is growing.
Okay.
But anyhow, yeah, so I have plans to continue to grow my career. So, but I'm also looking at not just writing code, because writing code is quite limiting. I want to be able to impact people with my experiences. So I want people to grow faster by learning from my mistakes and or my successes, right? So then you also mentioned something about, I think you mentioned about traveling. It is always on my mind, right? Because being in an enclosed space often limits your imagination, right? So if I can get to different other countries, see how things are done, it can help me think more extensively of how we can improve the Nigerian community. So I definitely want to travel the world, go to Germany, go to Canada, the US, wherever, just basically understand how their systems are, because these are developed countries, right? So we want to basically pick their knowledge and then bring it home and scale,
Yeah,
because Nigeria has to grow
that's a lot of work to do there. And I think
a
that's
lot.
also a really great idea that you are planning to stay in Nigeria and try to create a solid foundation there in Nigeria,
Hmm.
and just
Yeah.
create a community of iOS developers, and also doing videos, not just technical stuff, but also like soft skills and other things that are
Exactly.
not like just don't has that's not related to coding, just to
Hmm.
to show people like, hey, look, this is how the life of a software developer looks like. These are the struggles, these are the things that we are facing every day, and just to give people a much more clearer view of how software development works apart from
Hmm.
coding. That's
Exactly.
amazing. That's great. Okay,
Thank you.
Emmanuel, I think we can wrap it up. And
Yeah.
really, it's an honor to have you as my guest. I'm looking forward
Pleasure is mine.
to to share your content. And if there are people who are maybe stuck or looking to get into iOS development, and they're looking for some mentor, someone to help them, I'm definitely going
Mhm.
to um,
It means
share
a lot.
your share your content with them. And I think you're also very open to people who are looking for like advice and something. They can just
Sure.
DM you. And great. I um, I think a lot of people have learned from this podcast how the life in Nigeria as a software developer, as an iOS developer, is, and I hope people can actually also see that software development is not just about coding; it's also the soft skills that follows, and you don't have to have that solid background in software development to be an awesome software developer, to be a good software developer. Yeah. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for joining.
Very well.
Thank you for being part
Thanks,
of
man.
the show, and I wish you a nice day. God bless, man.